Joined now by our insiders, NBC News political analyst Harold Ford, former Democratic congressman from Tennessee, and longtime Republican strategist Mike Murphy. Harold, let me start with you. Did Joe Biden make a mistake in how he handled Governor Palin? He was decided that he was not going to take her on directly. She challenged him. She mocked him. She chided him. He decided to train his responses and just talk about McCain's record.
I thought Joe Biden did what he had to do tonight. He had a command of the issues. He was knowledgeable. He outlined and defended his candidate Barack Obama's positions when Governor Palin attacked, either falsely or correctly, something that Senator Obama and Senator Biden had done. I thought Senator Biden laid out very clearly. He was sober, he was calm, he was reasoned, and he was reasonable. If you were an American watching tonight, if you were an undecided voter rather watching tonight, you'd have to wonder, is that the kind of leadership you want in the Oval Office? And I have to think you'd feel good about Biden. Governor Palin, on the other hand, a lot of people were curious about her. She held her own in many ways tonight. She had a set of answers to a set of questions tonight. Even if those questions were not asked, Governor Palin was going to provide those answers. I thought it was curious when she said, I may not answer the way you want me to answer, Gwen Ifill, or you, Senator Biden. I'm going to answer and talk straight to the American people. The question is whether it worked or not, and we'll have to wait and see.
You know, Mike, these kinds of debates are not all substantive points. That's not how it gets tallied up in the voters' minds. It's about connection. I made the observation that she appeared a lot more rhetorical than she did specific. One example, the Israeli-Palestinian dispute and the Bush administration's approach to that problem. Was that approach winning for her?
Well, I think it did play to her strength. She's never going to be professor of policy details, and she doesn't have to be. I mean, my capsulization of it would be, I thought Biden was off his game for the first half. I thought he recovered pretty well and did pretty well in the second half. I thought she has kind of become a polarizer. If you didn't like Sarah Palin to begin with, you were tearing your hair out tonight. If you liked her more. The question is, where does it go from here? I think she stopped some of the pretty serious damage she was in over the last week, and the debate kind of became a bit of a nothing burger, which I think the McCain campaign will be happy about. They've got to get the focus back on him, and they got to do well Tuesday night to take this race back, which has started to slip away from them. So I think the McCain folks will be pretty happy tonight. She did what she had to do not to become a disaster, and they were heading there. And I think Biden was a little bit off, but the Obama people, he had a strong second half. They won't be too unhappy either. On the race goes, and I think the whole vice presidential thing will sink back a little bit, and we'll get back to the main event next week.
I guess the question, Mike, is what do those independent, undecided voters, the ticket splitters that you've written about, what do they want this year that's different from previous cycles, and can she help to deliver that?
That's the big question. I think they want change in Washington. They're anti-politics, but they also want confidence. She's very different. I've never heard a shout-out before at a presidential debate. Some people are really going to like that. Others are going to look at her and say, not a president of the United States. The tone's going to bug them. And where that breaks out, I think, is still yet to be determined.
Quickly, Harold, how do you answer that?
Well, I think Mike is right. She used a vernacular that was uncommon and unusual in a presidential or vice presidential debate, but she herself is an unusual candidate. I thought that Biden was pretty much, where I disagree with Mike slightly, I thought Biden was pretty much on throughout. I mean, he was stronger near the end, but he made clear at the outset that there were fundamental disagreements between the Obama-Biden ticket and the McCain-Palin ticket. But again, she held her own this evening. I think a lot of people thought she might collapse up there on stage. Yeah. She might have wilted under all of the pressure. Now, she held her own. The question now is, we get to next Tuesday, and McCain go back at one another, and the main show resumes.
All right, we'll leave it there. Harold Ford, Mike Murphy, thanks to both of you.